Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon. This is Indy Comics Explained. And once again, I brought another fantastic group of guests of independent creators. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And before I bring those gentlemen on, and they're all fantastic, don't forget, currently we have a Tall Tales Volume 4 is currently running on Kickstarter. So that's that fantastic trade paperback right there. We also have available the previous 3 trade paperbacks. So if you want to pick them up, they're all there for you. Also, there's for the Oswald Chronicles, I have a landing page open. So if you want to go sign up, this will be launching on this Friday. So this will be going on. As you can see, the book's already ready. You're all ready to go to the printers. All right. So without further ado, I will bring on my co-host, the New York hat wearing.
What's up, brother? I see you coming out strong today. You're dropping the plugs like woo, heavy duty in the beginning. Yep. Well, folks, my name is JD Rosario from Unstoppable Comics, and watch your feet while I drop these plugs.
Good.
So yeah, we just finished up a campaign for the Storm Chasers. Hell of a lot of books, hell of a big catalog. You could also pick up books like Dragon Storm in the fully funded campaign, which can now only be picked up on the website, unstoppablecomics.com. Right? Yeah, you can get all of this and more, mucho más. Check me out, Unstoppable Comics. I've been publishing comic books for the last 15 years. We celebrated our anniversary this past May, and I'm excited to be hanging out with everybody tonight.
Nice. And I can pledge for some of those books. Some of those books are really good. I can say that because I haven't read them all. But the ones I've read are actually very enjoyable. I like those books.
Thank you. I'll take that.
Mr. Lanning, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm C. Michael Lanning, independent artist, mass scribbler. I've done work for Arrow Comics, Calico of Shard, Silverline Comics, and a couple of other things. Plus, I'm also a panelist and show coordinator for Dispatches from Outside the Box, where we journey into the Geek Beyond every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Nice. Now, whose box?
Oh, your box. Everybody's box. We got to think outside the box.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I was just checking. I didn't know if there was like, I know you're married, and I know the person.
Don't drop any innuendos, man. She will reach throughout that curtain and yoke him out because of you, bro. Don't do that to him, man. He's a good
You're trying to get people in trouble already.
You know what I'm saying?
I had turned around and everything for you,
Shit.
And on Father's Day, on top of that.
All right.
That's bad.
Oh, that's right. Happy Father's Day,
I'm
folks.
sorry. Go for it, Mr. McFee, please.
Oh, I was just waiting for my turn just to hear my name. I am Jodie Mcphee. I am the president of C2C Studios, creator of Amazonia AWF and Primetime Saturday Night. You could always catch me here on YouTube with my show from the Desperate Ball Press Publisher, and every Thursday on the Rise of Tide Network as a comic book reviewer on Comic Book Spectrum.
Nice. All right, cool. Mr. Sam Willis, how are you, sir?
Hello, how's it going, guys? My name is Sam Willis. I am the co-creator of Raise Comics. Right now we have issues 1 through 4 out on Amazon and globalcomics.com. And we have a pre-launch page going for issue 5 that should be releasing July 1st.
All right, cool. Nice. Mr. Niobe.
LP, writer and creator of Niobe. Plugging away, doing our thing. Got books arriving next week. Trade paperbacks are shipped to backers, and then we launch Niobe Outbreak, the Kickstarter. Life is good.
All right, cool. We may have another person joining us shortly. Unfortunately, we had a guest and he can't make it. So, but it happens, but that's so good. But we might have a replacement. We'll see if he pops in. All right, so gentlemen, let's get down to brass tacks here. So I want to ask all you guys, who do you think is really knocking it out the park in the crowdfunding space? And what do you think they're doing right? And how do you think we can apply those things to our campaign? Right? So I don't know. Let's start with Joe.
No, you want to start with me. I'm probably going to go with the obvious, which is Brian Polito.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think he's doing right, he knows his audience. He cultivated his audience to the point where they're just waiting for the next available thing that he puts out. How do we use that to our advantage? It's more on life. We have to figure out a way to cultivate our audience to be ready to jump at the bit on the next thing that we really put out. That's pretty much the simplest answer I could give.
Give me the complicated answer. I'm only joking, bro. Sam, what are you thinking?
I'm a little bit new to this crowdfunding pretty much idea and platforms. I will say is I was on Patreon, and that was a little bit more difficult just because I noticed you kind of needed a following before you could start posting on a week-to-week basis on Patreon. I think from all the things I've seen on social medias and kind of, I think the different platforms between like Kickstarter and Indiegogo, the only thing I'm not a huge fan of is the Kickstarter pre-launch page, just because it's very minimal, which can be good, but obviously you can only do so much, and your audience can only get so much out of the Kickstarter until it obviously launches whenever you plan on doing that.
Cool. Larry, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, Brian Polito and Van Sciver are the two obvious ones, right? They're the two that do the best. My question would be, let's narrow that down, is who's doing it that's an up-and-comer, you know? Or who's been doing it that has sort of flown underneath the radar for a little bit, but all of a sudden it's now starting to catch some eyes. I mean, you can look at Miss Meow and Merc Magazine, or White Widow, you know, or Tom Hutchinson, you know, who just did a toy for like $39,000. You know,
it's true.
I would name some of those cats. You know.
All right, cool. Do you see, Larry? Do you think there's anything that we can adopt or from what they're doing?
Have sexy chicks on your covers?
Chick sell.
Parallax Spectre says, "Hey Joe." Also, yes, Polito's mastered the campaign for comics. There you go.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. He's pulling in about $4 million a year, man, just on crowdfunding.
Good for him, man. And we don't even know what his numbers look like through Diamond.
I know.
You know.
I know.
See, and you know, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, you know what? Diamond's fucking whole registration process, you know, sign-up process, whatever you want to call it, is a fucking joke, because they give you this big shit about, oh, well, you know, you're gonna be in Diamond. Has this book that you're submitting to us been previously crowdfunded? What are you doing differently? Because that won't sell through Diamond. Yet here's this guy Polito, and it doesn't matter. Right? And not knocking Polito. I mean, I'm bending the knee to the dude, right? But here he is, and he's making his dough on crowdfunding. Way to be on that, right? Through two different titles. Yet he's still on Diamond, and they're looking at his sack, man.
They're looking at what?
Licking his sack.
Oh, licking his sack. Oh, nice. All right, cool. See, Michael, what are your thoughts?
Before I say who I'm going to say, I would say, but Polito's been around. He's been peddling this long before Kickstarter came out.
Oh yeah.
So to me, as far as his campaign prowess is concerned, is just from built up momentum. Same thing with Van Sciver. They had momentum beforehand before they went into campaign and crowdfunding.
Right.
Hutchinson was a good answer. I believe that too. But I'm going to go. You know what? I'm going to go with even a little bit lower. I'm looking at Ram Altari, to be honest with you, Nightwolf. And the thing about Nightwolf is not only is he consistent with one book and one IP right now that I normally see. I know he's got I think he might have something else. But now after that campaign was over, I still saw his book come up on my Facebook feed, looking for people to sign up after that book is printed. So he's still pushing out even past the campaign, which I think is a smart thing to do. We don't want the books to just kind of sour and everybody just thinks about them during the campaign. We kind of want them to resonate, to keep going. So that he's not in your face about it all the time. That's always a good point too. So
true. All right.
But that brings up a different point here, but I would save it for later. Since you're going to bring up him, since you're going to bring up Rob Matari, there's another aspect in that as a whole.
What's that?
People like him and myself, we actually sell outside of campaigns as well. So it's like we treat the campaigns as your first opportunity.
Yeah.
But yet we stay kind of like a silent campaign, and I'm using the word silent kind of loosely here. We talk about our books, but we make it available to other people outside of campaigns. So it's always constantly being talked about as we work on that next issue. So we always have that momentum going into, in his case, it's like maybe issue 6 or 7. For you, like issue 8 of Amazonia, which would be happening in the next couple of days and stuff to that magnitude. But we don't just rely on the campaign just to sell one issue. It's like it's the starting point of how we're going to distribute that book from this point forward. And we have like our online stores or our own other distribution avenues beyond that. Right. So he doesn't have to be like very, very pushy to get my book over here, get my book over there. He has it built in where he can be consistent and be ready to have that next book handy, 3 to 4, 5, 6 months down the line. You don't have to second guess if they're going to be an issue number, a next issue. It's going to happen.
Parallax Spectre says Polito's been a publisher since the 90s. So it's not like me trying to get into Diamond.
Understood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Jay, to your point, like so you were saying Diamond's licking their sack, blah blah blah. I know you were doing you trying to get into the catalog. How did that work out for you? And like, what are your next steps? I mean, what do you think you need to be done to get in there?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I followed up, right? 2 months later, I got nothing back from the follow-up. Good friend of mine recommended me taking out a full-page ad through their sales department to see if I could get noticed that way. But I don't know.
They'll get you signed up quick, bro.
Yeah.
Take out. They'll call the accounts department. They'll be like, sign this kid up. He's giving us X amount. I don't know what their ad rate. What's a full page ad rate these days?
I don't know. I haven't even looked into it. Whatchamacallit? But I'm going back into my old business model. We're gearing up to start hitting conventions again, and conventions is what handled the bulk of my sales before. So I got no problem, throwing the stuff in the trunk of my car like an indie band, and going up and down the coast, man, selling my wares.
All right, cool. I mean, all right. Well, for myself, I think Tim Lim, Common America, I think that dude and his crew are like doing some really awesome things. I mean, we're talking about their last campaign. I think they 130 or 140,000 on Kickstarter. And they ran an Indiegogo at the same time, and I think they got another 14,000 there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't here for the original question. I apologize. So we're bringing up other people that contemporaries that are doing stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I mean, do you have any thoughts?
Well, look, I got a friend of mine. Well, one of my collaborators, Carlos Granda. He worked with a gentleman by the name of Asif, and I forgot his last name. I'm so sorry. But they ran a book called Arachna on Indiegogo and on Kickstarter, and combined between the two. It was maybe about $40,000, close to, between the two campaigns, man. That's great stuff for this guy's first one. Spoke to him. We went over numbers, and he told me he put about $3,000 into Facebook ads over the course of the two campaigns, and I'm like, holy shit! That takes a lot of chops to do that, but he also has a marketing background, so maybe there is some other gears in the works that he wasn't talking about as well. But whatever, the dude made dough, man. And then I know the White Widow. I forgot the name of the company, the publishing imprint
Absolute
that does
Comics.
White Widow. Absolute Comics. But that's Murat Michaels, from old school Image, man. And what did they do? $40,000 on their last book.
They do that consistently for a joke,
Look at
and they're in comic shops.
Look at that. Look at that, man. You know, so it's just us that are out here grinding it the fuck out. That they're turning their nose down to. Excuse me, the bigger distributor is turning their nose down to.
Parallax asked if you need a groupie. He said to hit him up, Jay.
Always.
There you go. So I mean, like I was saying though, is like as far as like what are the things like I don't even know what the Common America guys have done other than having good looking chicks on their covers and having a lot of great artists on their covers. I mean, other than that, I don't know what else to do. What else can we do? I know Larry, that's your area of expertise.
Well, their book's a little bit different, though. I mean, they've combined what's really popular right now with a little bit of sex appeal. They took that whole cartoony manga look and made it work for them, right?
Yep.
I mean, they got popularity in Japan. There are people in Japan who are talking about Common America. They have a whole Twitter thread dedicated just to their fan base over in Japan. They also offer hardcover books for $10 a piece. Right? Tell me who else can do that. They took a big gamble when they did that. They said, here's a hardcover book. We're only going to charge you $10 plus shipping, and they gambled on that people would buy that in bulk to make it worth their money and time. And they were right. They were able to do that.
I wonder what the price point on that is. Cause that's they got to be, they're not taking a hit on that. They had a hell of a deal.
But they did take a hit on it. But the thing is that they make up their money by selling other merch, right?
Okay.
Okay. If you go to any of their crowdfunders, you'll see the entry buy-in for a hardcover book is $10.
Yeah, it's cheap. They did an omnibus for like $20. I mean, the only thing I could think of is they're ordering in like bulk. They'd have to be ordering at like 10,000 books to get those prices down to like $3-4 a book. I mean, their margin is probably really slim. Like, they might be made on the single issues where they're selling them for $10. But man, their margin might be like $4, $5. But if they're selling it, I think they have.
What is it, hardcover or softcover?
Hardcover.
They're hardcover.
Hardcover?
I have them right here. Like,
how many pages are they averaging?
Well, they're decent.
Wait, put that in chat there, Larry, before I could take a look at it.
What's that now?
Put that in the private chat before I can take a look at it.
You want me to put it in the private chat?
Yeah.
What, Common America?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll go search it up here. Hold on.
Oh, I might be able to pull that up.
But no, that's pretty cool. I mean, if they're able to make it on the back end of other products, that's brave. That's for sure. I'll tell you that much.
Well, look, I'm looking at Common America 5 right now. This was the omnibus. They did 140,000 and change with 3,459 backers.
Ooh.
It's no joke. That's
what I mean? Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's something to really sink your teeth into.
I'm impressed. I'm not. That's impressive. This is why I'm kind of like, wow, that's pretty neat. I guess.
Yeah, they have 3,459 backers, right? I mean, that's.
And this was just on Common America 5. They have a project that's ongoing right now. It's Common America with a crossover with Black Ops and Soul Finder. Basically, all the iconic press comics that are ongoing right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said. I mean, how is it to reach into that market? But again, it's like they hit some kind of cross section between these markets, between manga and good girl art and all that stuff. So.
But you got to understand that everyone is out there. They're trying to find the magic answer, right? What's the one step I got to do to my Kickstarter or to my book that's going to elevate me to the next level? And they try all these marketing ploys and schemes and different graphics and prices and da 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 da. Sometimes there is no answer. Sometimes you just have what I call the it factor. It's like in wrestling when a nobody wrestler all of a sudden overnight becomes a superstar because they said the right line at the right time, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, or they just
they get over.
Yeah, somehow they got over, right? Common America to me is one of those books that, I don't know if there's a rhyme or reason or a formula that someone can copy and replicate that same success. I think they just had the it factor. They had the right thing at the right time,
I don't know though, but having a hardcover book for that low of a price is definitely attractive. Even to your casual collector.
Well, you still got to be interested in the work, though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you still got to look at the cover and go, "Oh, that looks like something I want to buy."
That's true. That's true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at their very first campaign, Common America 1. They raised $20,000.
Correct.
$20,000 to 140, right? I mean,
It's
that's
a huge leap. Yes.
a huge leap, yeah. And I mean, and that's probably
How many have they had in between?
They've done 8 campaigns so far.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
just on Kickstarter. They've had their Indiegogo's as well.
Okay.
Exactly.
They're moving
And
the
on
needle
top
in
of
the right
that, I
direction.
will also add this. On top of that, Common America is published by Antarctic Press. You can buy it in stores.
Right.
And that's another reason why I think that lends itself to having, some more eyes on the prize, is because they are in comic book shops,
Mhm.
I don't think that hurts at all,
Well,
No, not at all. I do think there's some cross pollination going on there, which is good for everybody, because that's one of the things I'm interested in eventually, running that route and then seeing what happens on the cross pollination.
I definitely support that whole cross pollination concept. I executed it on this one, and it worked for me.
All right.
So
Nice.
from what it looks like, they look like they have a campaign going on Indiegogo and Kickstarter at the same time, and not the same campaign either.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
They got their production in full swing, man.
They are, man. They got it.
Mr. Rosario, you're up, sir.
Okay. Since we're on the whole crowdfunded tip, let me continue with that. What do you do when you're on a panel with somebody that boosted their own campaign significantly? Do you bust their balls? Do you call them out? Do you smack them on the wrist? Do you let it ride? If they are toting their accolades at the same time. Excuse me. Let me throw that in there, right? If they're turning their nose up at everybody else, but that they put in some dough. Now, let me say my radar for this is fucking off. All right. A few things have been brought up to my attention, and I didn't notice that. But now that it was brought up to me, I see certain signs with other people's campaigns. So what do you do? Or do you handle them on a sliding scale?
Fair enough. Who's Sam? You're up. You're next, sir.
Okay. I mean, the way I operate is I'm pretty straight up with someone. If I see them kind of boasting and trying to get one over on people, and that it's not like that, I will call you out. I won't be mean about it. I will just say, like, man, like, I know you're doing this, but stop trying to play both fronts. Like, just say straight up that you're doing it this way, and no one's gonna judge you for it. But don't try to lie to, I guess, your fans or whoever you're trying to boast that, to your audience. I think it's kind of like playing two parts. You know what I mean? Just be straight up with your audience, because I feel like they'll be, more to like you, and then obviously to want to be more invested in your project if you're just straight up with them versus like trying to get one over on them.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Larry, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I'm still trying to understand the question. But give me an example.
I don't want to put anybody who's not here on the spot.
That's fine. Use me as your example.
Do you want me to step in? I could probably. I mean, think of it like this, Larry.
Okay.
So, all right. So, we've all seen it. You got a campaign struggling along, maybe making $500. They're trying to reach 2,000, and then overnight, boom, they're at 2,000. And but the night before
that's called an angel backer.
Oh, okay.
Is it? Wait. I'm still trying to understand it. Are we talking legit? Like, there's people out there who are like, I'm gonna bless you with this, or is that they stuck the money in the mommy's name?
I've seen it twice now. I've seen it with my buddy Gage, where personal friends of his knew he wasn't going to fund, came out and gave him a significant donation and bailed him out. Right.
That's different. That's
an
different.
angel backer.
Okay.
I also know in Kaiju Mania, the same thing happened. I don't know who did it, but they were struggling and someone came out with a boon and got them to fund. My advice to those was it doesn't matter how you fund as long as you fund. Listen, when I did Niobe #1, we weren't going to fund. I had my mother put in $500 of her own money so that we would reach that funding goal and then later paid her back. If I had never done that, I may never be where I am right now.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, listen, man. I mean, a lot of people do it, and but I don't think the part with that Jay has a problem with is that some people go out there and they start like to brag about it or whatever. I don't know. Joe, you're up. What's up, Neo?
I don't know how to feel about what was just said, to be quite honest. And the reason I say it in that aspect, because to me, I can understand angel backers in most cases here, but having like a family member.
If you don't think that's the reality of comic books, you're fooling yourself.
No, I'm not saying that's not the reality, but I also believe in putting skin in the game. And if you're going to put skin in the game and make this book and you have that available to you, why are you making your goal significantly higher when you know that resource is available?
First of all, I said Niobe #1. You know what our goal was for Niobe #1? It was something like 1,500 Canadian dollars.
Yeah, let's look at it this way. What's the difference between having a goal of 1,000, which would have been obtainable, knowing that you had possibly $500 to bail you out if need be to produce the book?
But
I'm talking about being 100% real with your audience.
But here's the thing, though.
Well, we didn't have an audience at that time, Joe.
Right, that was
9 backers, and most of them were family and friends from Canada.
Right.
We had to invest in ourselves, to gamble on ourselves, to get that extra money to actually produce the book. What happened was, the interesting story was we actually didn't need that money at all, because we did that halfway through. Okay, it turns out if I had just let it go, we would have funded anyway.
We were
over. You know what I mean? But we did it because I couldn't let $500 be the deciding factor whether this book was going to get out or not. And now we do $24,000 campaigns. It paid off.
My question to you at that point, what would have been the difference of letting it fail and then coming back a month or two later?
I probably never would have come back.
Why is that?
Because, again, you're talking the era 2014. You're talking a guy who never made a comic book before, who was, even wondering if anyone would even give him $1,000 for a black and white book on a role-playing game character he made when he was 16 years old. You're talking lots of inexperience. Now that I've been in the game for 8 years, if I had a failed campaign, sure, I could just come and bounce back. But as your first-time creator, failing, even with such a low amount, is quite discouraging.
Yeah.
Again, and I was like, I get that aspect here, and I'm approaching it from a different background. I started when crowdfunding really wasn't around.
You're approaching it from ethics. I don't care.
I came from a background where crowdfunding wasn't around. In 2008, I put out Amazonia #1.
Yeah,
I had to fund that bad boy by myself.
Yeah. Well, I
could have gone the routes and asking other people to help out and do whatever donations and everything like that, but I didn't do it.
If I had to fund a comic book by myself back then, I couldn't do it. Just don't have the money. Many of them don't. That's why crowdfunding exists. See, everyone's got this theory like you should have your book done before you put it on crowdfunding, which means everyone should be paying out of their pocket before they put their book out on crowdfunding. The majority of people, to be honest with you, just simply can't do that. They can't. That's why crowdfunding exists. It's meant to be. Crowdfunding is not a pre-sale store, which many people look at it as. It is not that. And when you go with that mentality, you are wrong. Crowdfunding
is an investment. And the thing about it is you have to have that proof of concept ready, and it has to be proven. And that's the aspect that I approach it with. And to me, when you're coming out there with only 5 pages and you're giving me signs of iffiness on my investment in you, I have a right to ask, is this 100% ready to go at that point?
You also have a right
As a
not to back
backer.
it.
And that's what I'm saying. It's a choice for that backer.
If you choose to back it, that's on you.
That is correct.
Here, I got something that runs along the lines with Larry. My very first campaign for Oswald Chronicles, right? I put in $5,500. I was doing a hardcover book, right? I killed myself. I got it up to 4,500. I had one guy who from California, he was an angel investor. He put in like $700 and he got me to 5,200. My friend who had his mother, God rest her soul, passed away, and she had left him a significant amount of money. And he came in and he also put in $500 to get me over that hump. Okay. And just to let you know, this is my good buddy, David Montoya, who drove me up to Michigan. That's for you.
See, I hear what everybody's saying here, and I'm not knocking it. Right? There's certain things that I am signing with, and certain things I'm not signing with. One thing that people are forgetting what I had originally asked was
it about?
And then you come out here acting like your shit don't stink.
That's how I kind of took it. It's like the question isn't so much about who's funding you, because if you fund it yourself and then you act like you can make those funds, should I call your ass out on it? I think that was the essence of that question.
And that's the way I was taking the question about why are you putting skin in the game after the campaign has started? If you're putting money in yourself, why isn't that goal lower? Because that money was going to go into that project regardless.
Oh, well, in my case, the money had to come from a credit card, which I had to pay back. It wasn't like cold hard cash in the wallet here. It was a gamble.
It doesn't matter about the source. It's just more along the line that money was going to go into the project as a whole. It's just, to me, shouldn't that mean that the goal should have been lower? Are you really being 100% honest with your audience at that point? Which comes back to what Sam was saying.
That's an easy speech to give to someone back in 2014 when it's their first time. You know what I mean? And have them, try and understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
They wouldn't.
And like I said, I'm not knocking angel investors because I had one for my very first Kickstarter campaign. I had one. So I understand that aspect. So I'm not trying to jump down your throat about that aspect as a first-time creator or whatever situation that you have here. But there has been suspected, and I'm putting suspected in quotation marks, creators that constantly put up these larger goals, knowing good and well if they cannot reach it, they have a supply of either accounts where they could come in and back themselves and make it seem like, it is what it is. I'm not saying that it's right, wrong, or indifferent. It's just, it is what it is. And what JD is asking is like, how do you really, point them out and bust them out in public, or how do you handle that?
Why is it?
I feel like I really don't know.
Though, why is it any of your business, right? What someone does.
That's my point. That's my point that I was about to get. I really don't know. Are you
the Kickstarter police? You know what I mean? Like.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's where I think we both agree. Larry is like, not my problem at that point. I mean, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good as a whole, but happens.
I mean, check this out though. For my angel investor, check this out. Here's where it killed me with that angel investor, and I owe that guy a huge apology because I sent him a bunch of stuff, but there was one level that I gave him, and it was a level where I would write a story with his character in it. In the story, right? Now, I think that campaign I ran about 8 years ago, I have yet to fulfill that one level. The story is written, I've yet to publish it. But I did tell him it would take a couple years. I let everybody know it would take a couple years. So yes, but that story's coming though. I got it. It's done. Dad's illustrated, and I still owe a couple illustrations from it too. He's gonna get a couple of the illustrations.
Ladies and gentlemen out there in the audience, take that as a lesson of what not to do in fulfillment.
Don't do that one. Oof! I've never promised that to anyone ever again. Because also my buddy promised. That was the same thing I did for him, and I wrote a story for him. But man, it's woof. No, it takes too long. I take too long when it comes down to like writing personal stories and shit. You know, including but I got it. I did it. I did it. The story's done. I swear. I just got to print the fuck. All right, Mr. Michael, how do you feel about it?
Look, as far as that's concerned, talking about somebody coming on bragging on funding themselves, basically, you know what? Whatever. You go ahead and you do that. I find out about it. I'm not funding you anymore. It gets to the point where, yeah, you can call them out on it, but how's it going to look on you more than it is on them? You know, like in all honesty, if they wanted to get themselves over a hump, and they're just using Kickstarter as a platform to reach more people, and they might have that money to produce it, I'm not really going to fault them for that. But I will fault them for acting like they're the Kickstarter king when they're funding their own stuff. Don't take advice from them, that's for sure. But there's back rooms of people. We're a network. Networks talk. Don't have to be live. Don't have to be in a panel. So, I
agree with Larry. It's not. Here's the thing. It's really none of our business. But if someone is being braggadocious about it, you're like, you do want to kind of call. It's a New York thing.
It's a big New York thing. It really is probably the closest one to the example, right? Let me just say, when we did it for $500, that was back in one time only, back in 2014. Ever since then, we've been off to the races. People have been coming and back in the books ever since number 2 all the way up to Outbreak. Had we not invested a little bit in ourselves, even though we didn't need to, we didn't know that at the time. But even though, had we not invested ourselves, then my dream may have not have come true, right? I don't think it's a crime, for someone to say, hey, I need a little hand here. Can you help me out to get this dream to come to life, right? Now, if I've been doing that every single project, I'm like doing 20 grand and I put in 10 grand of my own money and say, yeah, I rule. That's a different story. You know what I mean?
That's kind of an asshole thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But like I said, with Larry, I totally understand, man. I mean, sometimes you're in a position. Think of it like this: if you've raised $4,900, right, out of a $5,000 goal, right? I would
allow $100 stop you from meeting your dream or not, right? That's the question that's got to be asked, right?
Exactly. $100 to rescue 4,900.
Correct.
Yeah. You have to sometimes put that in. It sometimes happens. And okay, here we go. Parallax is calling me out. It is not a couple. I agree. That's why I apologize.
It's a couple of 4s.
All right, like I said, I owe that guy. The Tri-State says, Tri-State Press sets his goal of 500 each time, as the Kickstarter funds are only to print and mail copies to the customers. There you go.
Yeah, see, Max is a guy, he will put in all his own money, right? And so that's why his goals are so low, is that he knows the book is going to be made anyway. My suggestion to anyone is,
that's my philosophy too. That's how I do it.
Right, but what if you're broke? What if you're broke? But you have a whole idea, and that money to fund your Kickstarter is going to come from the backers, right? The money to make the book is going to come from the backers. So you have to ask enough to at least be able to complete the project, pay your talent, and get it out, right? And this is where, where should someone set their goal question come into play? Should it be $500? Should it be $1,000? Should it be $2,000, $5,000? Whatever. Some people do ask way too much. The problem is that sometimes people ask for way too little, and that's why their books never get complete.
Right. This is very true.
I was also going to add to that, like, what if you have these tiers that, you got to ship all this stuff out. Like, you have to set a certain, I think, budget for that as well. You're going to be getting books, but what if you're, sending out T-shirts, hats? Everything costs money. It's not going to be like, you raise $500 and then you're negative $1,000 for all the people you have to ship out to,
Well, the good news is if you only raised $500, chances are you're not shipping to that many people.
No, absolutely. I use that as an example, but I'm just saying, like, on the whole front of that, if you have all these
people miscalculate shipping all the time. I did it for my first couple of campaigns until I had to go like buy a scale and learn how it works, and the whole drill, right?
I just call Jay. You know, I just tell him. I said I read off dimensions and a poundage, and he just gives me a rate.
He had to be Rain Man about that, right? I mean, you know, that's what all mailmen are. Look at. Oh, that's going to cost you $4.95.
You motherfuckers.
Jay works with
I roll back to Calderon looking at me when he's giving me these numbers, and he goes, "Stop doing convention math. Just get a calculator out and tell me what the rates are." Yes, it is like that scene in The Hangover where Galifianakis is at the blackjack table, and you see the Pythagorean theorem and all these other different equations floating by the screen, and it's like, yes, that is me. You bet. That happened to us the other day with shipping the stuff from Detroit back here. It was like, there's going to be a problem. I was like, give me a second. At 14 pounds a box coming in from here to here, it's going to be blip, 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 blip.
Stamps.com. That's what
T-shirts are a pain to ship, and I'll never do them again.
He's not wrong. I've done it twice. I had to order my shirts, and then they came from the States, and because I'm in Canada, there's a huge, sort of currency difference, right? Like basically, I have to pay 25% more for whatever you guys pay for. By the time I got the shirts, then it was like, okay, now I need a whole different packaging for them because they're not going to fit in a Gemini. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that required bigger boxes, which required more shipping. And in the end, they just weren't worth it.
See, I have no problem doing T-shirts. I buy them in bulk. I get them for about $7 a pop, full color. We're doing 25. We'll bake in the shipping on it, and I do clamshell boxes. So you put the books in there, bagged and boarded, and the T-shirts fit in another comic baggie. You close that bad boy up and you send it out. I don't know what it is out there for you, dude. Larry, but over here in the States, so that whole package will run me about $7.
I'm curious to know what you mean by clamshell packaging, though.
Clamshell packaging. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Give me a second.
Yeah, you should have them boxes just lying around, right? That's how. That's not being a mailman works, right?
When I think of clamshell, I think of you go to the restaurant, they give you that white, foam thing, and
that's pretty close.
That's close to it, yeah.
Mr. Lanning has a fantastic shirt on.
I got two of them.
All right, so brother, here's the clamshell package. All right, so it's about 11 by 7 for the box.
Full screen him, JD, so everyone can see this.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that. See, I'm a terrible host. Oh, I almost removed shit.
There we go.
All right, so we're looking at 11 by 7 for the box. Excuse the contents. Excuse the contents. Sorry.
I'll just wait for everything to spill out. You know what I mean?
I have prototype stuff in there. All right. So if the book is ready to rock and roll, bagged and boarded, she fits in there just fine. And in the bed of it, you could put the shirt in, no problem. And over here in the States, stamps.com, priority shipping, you're looking at about $7 to ship the package out.
Yeah, no, those boxes are cool. I actually use boxes just like those. When we had to do the T-shirts, it required me to go out and hunt for them.
See over here, I don't know if you guys get it out there, but we have a company called Uline Shipping out here in the States.
I'm about to say that.
And I picked this all up in bulk, dude. I'm not even paying 20 cents a box on these.
Yeah. If I go to my Staples right now and buy a box like that, it's probably like $3.50.
Yeah. No, I get it. So see, the thing is with us, we don't just do this as our shipping boxes. So I take these flat with me to conventions, right? And we have them labeled up. And we have them labeled up, and we use them as our mystery boxes for the conventions as well, dude. So, we'll label that son of a bitch up, all on the sides, right? And we'll have them stacked high, so people can see them from a distance at the booth. And we'll put merchandise that doesn't move as well. Excuse me, right? Older stock, stuff like that we're trying to get our
It
hands
is
on.
available up here, Richard, but the problem is like, especially during the pandemic, I could not find boxes of a certain size. They were just sold out. You know what I mean? They were sold out, you know?
Right.
Geminis were the easiest thing to get a hold of for me. And, you know, and me and Max sort of have this philosophy now. If it can't fit in Gemini, we don't ship it unless if it's a bigger sort of package. Like, you know, like, hey, you're getting all of our books for $300. Then yes, that requires something larger than a Gemini. You know what I mean?
Right. See, so for me, since I have this stuff, right, I buy it in bulk. Like I said, the 20 cents is negligible. It's just added, whatever. It's nothing boosted onto the campaign. But when you look at it, right, the shirts bring margin, dude. And I don't do a lot of premium books. It's only now that I'm starting to do, you know, holochromes and metals in the next one, where I can charge a premium. But for me, the margin was coming from the shirts.
Yeah.
You
well,
know?
if you're getting them for $7 a shirt, for sure, right?
I
wasn't so lucky on that one.
Okay.
And I had a licensing deal, so I couldn't like shop around. Like I had a 3-year deal with popartgear.com, which meant all my apparel had to be done through them. And so for 3 years, I was getting my shirts done. They were nice shirts, but they were expensive, you know?
Okay.
Only recently that contract had expired, and I told them I wasn't renewing. That happened in October 2022. So now I'm free to shop around if I want to do shirts again.
Gotcha.
Now, what if you don't mind me asking, what unit rate were you paying per unit?
Oh, I would have to go back and look, but I think it was something like $15 to $20 a shirt, and I had to turn around.
Oh, that hurts, brother.
No, by the time they, you know, but I'm calculating the markup due to the currency change. I'm also counting what it costs to get them shipped to me, right? By the end of it, you know, we had to charge like $35, $40 a shirt, which I think is too much, you know, because we were getting these shirts that's, you know, so expensive. By the time they got to me in Canada, it's like, well, we have to charge X amount to make any sort of money off them, you know.
Yeah. The shirt, that fantastic shirt that C. Michael was wearing. Randy Zimmerman actually got those made for me. They're black and it's just white on the cover. I didn't even ask. I just wanted like a really stark image. I just like that black and white contrast. I didn't even bother with like color. But he got me those shirts. I think they were $5.50 each, and that's on like some really thick Gildan.
Nice heavy duty shirts. Yeah,
nice heavy duty shirt, and I think he got them to me for $5.50 a shirt. Might have been.
Was this Randy's?
No. Randy, he has, because he doesn't do silk screening. He does some other type of process.
Oh, okay.
That's silk screen. So he had that, but he had it done in Michigan. He's a buddy of his who has that business.
Yeah, it's a very well made shirt.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the funny thing is when it's a black and white shirt, I would screen print it on my own, right? I got the screen printing. I got the heat press. So we'll screen print the black and white, you know, the single colors, because I got an apartment and I don't got all the space to do a 4-color screen printed setup with the heat press and stuff like that. So I'll order the full color stuff. Dude, the black and white shirts, we still sell them for $25. And that, I mean, I think if we're paying $350 a shirt for that, that's a lot. Because again, Gildan, you buy them in bulk, it's about $258, $275, depending on where you get it from. And then, you know, the jar of ink that I get for this, it's like $5 for a 16 or 24 ounce jug of ink, man, and that'll last me about 200 shirts.
Nice. All right. Cool.
You know?
All right.
I know what I love about your show, JD, just to interject, is that your format is like, here's a question and you throw it around to everyone, like, and the questions always make you think. You know what I mean? Like, I do like that.
That's, you know, well, I mean, the one thing I like is to impart information to everybody, right? Like, I've been doing this for a minute. Rosario, all of us have experience in various ways, and we all have different things. Like, you know, we can talk about like the T-shirts, pins, buttons, all sorts of crap. You know, stuff that can help out everybody. So,
right. It's all about making that margin, which at the end of the day is going to go back into making more books. So it's not like we're out here, you know, driving around Maseratis, living in mansions or anything like that.
Yeah.
Where's my Porsche, Mark Brooks?
Right. Right. Although I would like to one day be there. But anyway, Mr. Michael, you're up.
All right, I'm going to give you kind of a softball question, I guess, since Rosario kind of had us on a spin there for a little while.
Sure, blame the Spanish guy. Go ahead.
So,
No, it's the Yankee guy. That's why. You know the Mets
boy.
are the better team.
Yeah. When's the last time they won a game?
Dude, I don't watch baseball. I don't give two shits.
So why'd you even say that? Don't bring that up, bro. Don't bring that up. You know what I mean? If you're gonna challenge me, you know I'm gonna be like, I'm here. I'm stepping up.
Challenge?
You know what I'm saying?
You make it sound like you were.
JD always steps up to the plate. Now, whether or not he hits a home run is a different story.
Listen,
he always
man,
steps up to the plate.
See, the thing is this, right? He brought up the Mets, and the problem is I don't watch minor league baseball, so
I'm not even a baseball fan. I feel that one.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm in a family of all Met fans. I'm the only Yankee fan here in New York.
No,
so,
I'm not a Yankee fan. I'm not a Met
I'm on
fan.
my toes.
And your team beat the crap out of my team just recently.
Who are you? You're a what?
White Sox.
Oh yeah. Well, hello.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. I mean, if it wasn't for Frank Thomas, you know what I mean? You wouldn't even have had a team. Yeah. Dude, that was my selling point. When I did last time I did C2E2, I was out there playing the heel. If anybody knows wrestling, right? He was playing the part of the bad guy, and I came out there as the New York Yankee bigot, right? And I was tearing up the fucking White Sox all day. And I used that same minor league joke when somebody asked me about the Cubs. I don't watch minor league baseball. You know, and I was just tearing them up. I was saying the only thing good about Chicago baseball in the last 50 years has been Frank Thomas, and that's it. Your pizza sucks. Fucking baseball.
That's football. You know that he was playing the heel.
I was coming out big time like the heel, bro. Big time. I wish I had somebody recording that. I just coming off the cuff with some good shit.
We would have been kindred spirits about the Cubs. I would have been like, I could get with this man. And he talks about, it's like, only thing we have is Frank Thomas. Oh no, dude.
Yeah, that's it. Ask me the name. Ask me the name
to
anybody else.
Oh, you gotta be the bad guy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Listen, you know what? See, Michael said softball. I went to sports. We went down the rabbit hole. You know what I mean? Larry was talking about questions going everywhere. And I'm a free spirit, baby. You know, I'm a peacock. You got to have me flying, man. You
the Southern guy. I got you.
Go ahead, Michael. Go ask that question quick before he says something else. Jesus.
So if there was advice you could get from any indie creator, who and what would it be?
I think it's you, Larry.
Repeat the question. If I could give advice or ask for advice, I didn't catch that first part.
No. If there was any advice that you could take from any indie creator, who and what would it be?
Well, I mean, you obviously got to sort of look at who's successful, right? I mean, I don't take advice from people that are, not making the grade. So, I mean, if I could, pick Brian Polito's ear for an hour, great. Put me in front of him because he and I, both do sort of like the Bad Girl comics. He knows the genre. He's been doing it for 30 years. As far as comic books on Kickstarter, he's the king. But I mean, you also have to pick someone's ear that maybe, isn't 10 leagues above you too, right? Because he's got more money, right, to throw in and make all these different things happen for him, like, mystery boxes and foil covers, this and all the sorts of gimmicks that he does, because he's quite literally the ShamWow guy of comic books. When you listen to him sell, right, it's like watching a half-hour program, late at night, doing the chopper, Right. But I mean, I picked lots of people's ears. I picked, Tom Hutchinson from Big Dog Inc. He's a good one to sort of bounce questions off of. But I've also given advice, So
let me ask you this question though. Let me put it this way, because I also said, what advice would it be? So you could talk to Brian Polito, but what would it be advice about? Would it be about the way he puts together a book? Would it be about the way he puts together a campaign? You can only ask one of these questions. Polito's a very
I
busy
think it
man.
would have to come down to how he puts together a campaign. Like, what is the success of his Kickstarters that are grabbing someone's eye? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And teach me that. I'm ready to be a Padawan.
Nice.
There you go. All right.
There you go. Joe, you're up. Who would you ask?
I'll probably go outside the box on this one because he said Indy, and I probably wouldn't go the obvious route. I probably would go with somebody like Bill Black, and people are like, "Who in the world is Bill Black?" He is the guy over there at AC Comics that is responsible for Film Force surviving the way that it has for all these different years. And the one question that I would ask advice for is, how do you get an IP to survive that long without it going stale?
Right. Yeah.
Because he's over like 190 something issues in Film Force and close to like, I forgot how many as far as the other books like Paragon and the Western books and everything that he does for AC Comics.
Nice.
So he just writes specifically, or does he write and art, or?
He does a little bit of everything. He even moved into movie directing and everything, dealing with just his franchises that he has at AC Comics. So to me, my question will always be about, how do you keep your franchises fresh? You know,
Right. Yeah.
How do you keep those IPs fresh? Because you're lasted from like the 80s to now.
Mm-hmm. 70s.
Mostly from black and white. Now he has a lot of color stuff, and then he went back to black and white. You know, he had put out a couple of movies dealing with characters from his comic books, you know, all independently done. And he's still out there, you know, on the convention scene kicking.
Right. Yeah.
Good shit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sam, what are your thoughts? Who would you ask?
I think I could only answer half of this question just because if I was to ask anybody, just going back to the indie realm, I think it's like me and pretty much my whole team, we have like full-time jobs. So I think like the biggest struggle we've had to deal with is like time management. Like producing our issues at a good enough time where it's not taking 6 months to 9 months to come out with an issue.
Right.
So I think I would have to ask someone who's kind of in that realm. I've already kind of picked a lot of indie creators' brains on, you know, that question already, but it would have to be someone in that realm. I think the people who are obviously, you know, are signed with publishers and who are doing, you know, making all that money on Kickstarter, they kind of have that formula already figured out. I think it's for me, it'd have to be.
You don't.
Well,
We
closer
don't.
than me.
I wish we
Well,
did.
I think he means like people who are consistently putting out stuff. You know, like yourself, Jay.
Yeah, so I would have to find someone who's kind of in the same realm as me, as like managing a passion project while working like 40 to 45 hours a week and still having to have a good timeline on each issue or each book that we're coming out with.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool. Yeah, nice. But yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Sam. So
Yes.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm with you. I'm working 60 hours a week, dude.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm working 60 hours a week, you know, I'm married, and where do you find the time? Time management. Right. I brought this up to Calderon the other day. I have the resources, I have the knowledge, I have the merchandise. The one thing I'm lacking severely in is time to execute. That's all of us, dude. That's all of us.
Absolutely.
You know?
Jay, answer the question.
Yeah. So I got two answers. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be greedy. I would have had three, but Larry took Polito. You know, I am a devotee, brother. I break down like, you know, everything from him, his updates, and I'm just like, okay. But outside of the crowdfunding realm, I would like to go back a little bit and definitely speak to Matt Wagner, Grendel, and Mage, and find out from him when to pivot, right? Because he's carried both of those properties from one publisher to the next. Right, Kamiko, and he's done it on Image. I think Dark Horse, right, had Grendel for a little bit. So like, and he did work, you know, mainstream work at the same time. So it's like, when to pivot? What signs has he seen out there to tell him, okay, you got to take this route? That's one, and the other one is Eastman and Turtles Eastman, and it's how do you not blow all the fucking money that he did, man? That dude had he had the mansions and the Maseratis. The motherfucker had a goddamn tank just to play paintball, and it's like, dude,
that one. That's new to me. I haven't heard that one. That's
yeah.
crazy. Oh my God.
Yeah. Watch
Hero.
If you got Netflix. Watch the Toys That Made Us documentary. The Turtles episode. They show him in the fucking tank when they're playing fucking paintball, and it's like, dude, look, I know he tried to do the good stuff, right? And he tried to do, the comic book museum of art. He tried his best to save heavy metal or whatever he did with heavy metal. He tried to do something with Tundra, but it's like at the same time he blew through fucking close to $200 million, dude. And I just want to know how to avoid that at my scale. Excuse me, coming
Well,
down.
then it sounds like you might need to talk to Laird instead.
See, but that's the thing. Laird was the older one of the group, right? He was the curmudgeon.
Yeah.
Eastman was the one that he's like, he eats with his eyes. And hello, that's who I am. Like, ooh, this is nice. I grab what it is. But and then he lost his property. He lost his property, but did he lose it out of frustration? Did he lose it out of
well, he sold his fortune. He sold it to
but it came with a hell of a lot of discontent over that fifth turtle scenario. And then it was with the stipulation that Laird would never sell it. And then Laird ended up fucking selling it.
The great thing about that Turtles deal is they both made a lot of money, and when the more money you make, right, the more money you're going to spend. And I think that's the problem. They didn't, Buddy didn't manage his money right. And it doesn't matter if it's 10 grand or 100 million. You know what I mean?
Right.
The cool thing about that deal, though, is they were able to retain the rights to draw Turtle comics for the rest of their life. Yeah, so no matter what happens, they can do Turtle comics. They still have that. Which
they can do like 12, 14 issues a year. I think is what it was. But even still, like what JD Rosario, it's like, but we're talking about almost $1 billion IP that you ended up selling for $60 million that you had to split between somebody else. That is kind of rough. That's a pretty.
Yeah. Excuse me. It's an evergreen property. Dude, an evergreen property is every 5 years that motherfucker gets refreshed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it
will make that money, man.
Yep.
I mean, if you can't make $30 million work for you in life, I don't know what to tell you.
I know, man.
No, I get that for us, but when you're talking about a property that has been around through generations and has made such amount of money, to have to it would be like George Lucas selling off Star Wars for that amount of money.
Sure.
And it's like, they should have at least been able to pull off.
Well, maybe don't go out and buy tanks.
Don't go buy tanks.
Right? Yeah. Or when you're starting a comic book company, just pay every artist you meet what they're asking for, and never get those projects off the ground.
I think, says I didn't have a question ready because I didn't know that I had to, but you guys have just allowed me to come up with my question. It's perfect.
Okay.
When everyone else answers.
Hold on. Let me let Arthur. What's up, bro? You're a little late. What's up?
What's up, Arthur?
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
What's up?
You're not
Early.
late. EST, brother. EST.
I am on CP time.
I know. That's all good. So, Mr. Michael, ask Arthur the question so he can answer.
All right, Arthur, if you can ask advice from any indie creator, who would it be, and what advice would you ask them for?
Dad, we got to define indie creator then.
We're not going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Let's say small press, doing it on your own.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody who put skin in the game. Their own skin in the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. That's a hard question. I have to think. Y'all have to come back to me on that one. 'Cause
All right.
really,
I'll answer it before him, so maybe it'll give you an idea of what to. I would talk to some. You know who I talk to at this point in the game? It'd probably be Tim Lim, the guy I had mentioned earlier, where he's raising 140,000 on doing America, because it's not just a thing about them doing. He's doing things that I think could be applicable to other things just in doing the type of book he's doing. Because it would be easy for me to come out and say, all right, well, I'm going to make an IP with a cute girl and, large boobs and all of her, everybody around her is the same thing as her. So all those, I have 19 covers with the different chicks on them. But I think he is doing other things because his other thing, he has Black Hops, which also does well for him. But I think that's doing well because the other one is doing well.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's right. Well, Common America started off through Black Ops. It was basically like a side character that sort of blew up. You know what I mean?
No. Okay, I get where you're going. It's weird that you bring this question up because I used to I used to want to work for Antarctic Press growing up, and I finally got a chance to work with them.
You're the Arthur. All right, keep going.
Yeah. So,
this is the Arthur that said Entity was 2020's worst comic book ever from Tyler. Like, this is great. All right, keep going.
it has nothing to do with it, but it is what it is. I call it like I see it. But anyway, having a chance to speak with Ben Dunn and looking at a lot of older people that have been around the comic book industry for years, I look at what happened to make their career kind of stall. You have some people like Ben that've been around for 35 plus years. They're household names, but they're still doing the same thing that everybody else does. They're still going to Artist Alley. They're still, trying to stay relevant in a changing industry. So it's like, what do you do to elevate your career? Mm-hmm. Even if you are a household name and the fans know who you are, but you're not getting the body of work that, some people think you should. You're not getting the opportunities that people think you should. So where's the career as far as going to that next level? So I would just, I would ask him, I would ask several people, what stopped your career from going to that next level?
I can almost answer that for him because I've dealt with Ben Dunn recently. I just recently, put my book with Antarctic Press. It's funny that you mentioned that. I also just had a cover done by Ben Dunn that we're going to release on our next Kickstarter. So I've had a lot of communication with Ben Dunn. One of the things was they asked me, Stephen Ross, one of the guys that works closely with Ben over there at Antarctic for a while, asked me, how is it that we're able to do successful Kickstarters based on Bag Roll Comics? He said he didn't understand the appeal. When we talked to Ben Dunn about a cover, he sent me a single image with no background. He's so old school. He said, I thought someone else would do the background because that's the school that he's from, where he'll draw it. And much like a manga artist, someone else will draw the background. You know what I mean? So there is a generational disconnect where some of these guys are still stuck in the 80s and 90s and haven't advanced to the digital realm of doing things.
No, I agree. I look at Steve Rude. That's who I would ask. Give me 1 hour along with Steve Rude. So many questions. But you're right. A lot of them haven't adapted. Social media is a big component now, as well as establishing a brand. And a lot of the older people in this industry, they haven't adapted to that.
All right. Cool. All right. So we're hitting on the second hour. I want to pull up Joe's campaign real quick. So, Jay, start talking.
Well, you had a question from Larry. So why doesn't Larry ask the question?
Yeah.
Hell of a fucking producer you are. God damn. Holy shit, man. You suck balls, bro.
Well, now I got two questions. I don't know which one I want to ask.
Ask both.
We got two campaigns coming up.
Well, I mean, they might require long answers, but here's the first question. Would you ever sell your property? Like, period. Like, if the price was right, the deal was right, would you sell your property?
Yes.
And the second
Damn
question
right.
is, would you ever consider going to a publisher, not necessarily Antarctic Press, but some other publisher to help get your work out? You know what I mean? Like I
Yes.
know Arthur,
Mhm.
dealt with Antarctic and wasn't exactly happy with them, from what I understand from past videos that I've seen of you. But maybe that point of view has changed. I don't know. But how do you guys feel about doing your crowdfunding, but also trying to slink your way into store shelves?
If the deal was right, yeah, and I'm not obligated to stay with them forever. When I know what the parameters are of what I can separate myself from the contract. Yeah, there's a lot of nuances, but nothing is off the table ever.
Joe, how do you feel about it?
Question number one.
Joe, sorry.
Yeah.
While you're
You
talking,
can answer the second question.
let me. Yeah, I said yes to both. I said yes
Oh,
to
okay.
both. But
said yes to
while Joe is answering, Calderon, pull up the fucking thing.
No,
The
no.
work.
I want everybody to get
Chop,
it. I want
chop,
everybody to
son.
answer the
Is it
question.
primed? Primed? All you got to do is hit the button, right?
Listen, you damn right. Answer the question.
Okay.
Hey, did you know that Rosario is actually a deep dish fan? I mean, he doesn't tell anybody in public.
Whoa.
I know where you live. I know where you live.
Listen, you can come on over. We'll order some deep dish, bro.
You motherfucker. I will smack you with that mashed potato covered in cheese, bro. Every fucking day, bro.
Yeah, right. You wouldn't be able to smack
Whop
me
with that shit.
already. Come on, you don't even eat it before he got to my house.
Oh my god, dude, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. I'd rather go to Pizzeria Uno's for that thick crust with the mashed potato dipped in there.
Joe, please answer the question.
Okay. To answer question number one, it has to be the right deal for it. It has to be the right deal. I will sell. I wouldn't have a problem with selling any property if the deal was correct and right. And
I'll give you $100 right now, Joe.
No, that's too low. Too low. Too low. And surprisingly enough, I had another indie publisher that asked me, let him know when I'm ready to sell, because he had ideas. I was like, I'm just starting, and you're up here, wanting to buy it after issue number 3. I was like, let me finish what I'm trying to do here. Let me do what I need to do first. And when I get to that point where I feel like I'm done, yeah, I don't have a problem selling it. That's not a problem. The second part of the question, will I search out a publisher? At this juncture, probably not. Because to me, it's more along the lines like, if I wanted to work for another publisher, I'd rather work for somebody else's IP and not use my own. And that's the way that I have to really look at that question. It's like, do I really want to work with other people's IP? Or do I really want to stick with what I'm doing on my own or my own IPs? And that's kind of like a fair question to, use as an answer for that. Because if I want to work with other people's IPs, hell yeah, I'll probably work with another publisher and put in my ideas that way. I mean, if Marvel or DC come knocking on the door where it's like, hey, Joe, we want your, ideas for She-Hulk, or we want your ideas for Wonder Woman, or we want your ideas for Naomi, or we want your ideas for Nubia, so be it. I'll do it. No questions asked. But would I give them Eliza Masters from Amazon? No. Because now it's a whole nother set of rules that I have to play up under when I had none by being by myself. And that's, kind of like one of those things. It's like, why would I give up that level of control to play in somebody else's sandbox, not guaranteed that I would get the proper resources that I would need to take it to the next level? Would I work for somebody else to take their character to the next level? Sure. Easy. But for my own stuff, nah. But I will sell it. Let me finish what I want to do with it, and then afterwards, yeah.
Nice. Sam, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so this is kind of like, I guess for the first part, I'm going to have to say no. And I only say no because I've been working on this for over a decade. not on a comic, but like getting everything ready, writing down the story. I would only sell it if I knew I was doing such a shitty job and I couldn't, perform at the level I think that I set my bar, set the standard for. For the second question, I think as far as a publisher comes along, it'd have to be more of a partnership, just because a lot of, I think, the heavy lifting I've already done. So there'd have to be something that they'd have to put on the table that would, I would say, make me interested to the point where I'd want to work with them. Like, what are they bringing to the table where we can, like, what eyes can we reach that we haven't already done so? So that's, I guess, my input on those two questions.
Ooh, Arthur, what are your thoughts? Would you sell your IP?
Damn right. The problem, and I don't mean to use the word problem, I'm just going to say lack of experience. A lot of comic book, independent comic creators have never worked with actual publishers. So they start out self-publishing. So having not worked with book publishers, magazine publishers, etc., they don't know the ins and outs of the actual publishing industry. They're learning. It's a learning experience. So yes, I would sell, because one of the things they tell you, never be married to your project, because your talent and resources can only take you in that project so far. Like he just said, you have to have these partnerships, whether it's a brand deal, sponsorship, film options, which I hate, whatever the case may be. You can only take your IP so far. So you need to either sell it, or at least the multimedia rights, whatever the case may be. Y'all mentioned the Ninja Turtles earlier. They have a great setup. They can still make their comic, but Nickelodeon bought the Ninja Turtles for $80 million a few years ago. Everybody's happy. That's on top of the millions that they've already made. Everybody's not going to get that deal. Everybody's not going to get that deal. But you have to be realistic.
Not everybody's happy.
As,
Not everybody's happy. We know that when they sold to Nickelodeon, Eastman was not part of that deal.
Correct. He wasn't.
So not everybody's happy there.
No.
Well, the other guy is.
The other guy is.
Exactly.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that's
But
why
he's still-
everybody's not going to get that presented in front of them. But you have to be realistic about your talent and your resources and how far you can really take your IP. So to sell it, sure. If you want to give me X amount, you can take this to the next level. Or like Black Sands, they formed a corporation. Joe McFee is one of the only independent comic creators I know with a corporation. That means he can have those investment rounds and so forth, which is great. It positions him potentially in a great situation if it's property. And comics are basically a proof of concept. Let's look at it like that. So with Black Sands,
No, it's not. No,
it
it's
is
not.
a proof of concept.
No, it's not. You can look at Calderon. He's not doing it for proof of concept.
Hold
He's
on.
been
Let
working
me
on
finish.
this thing for years.
Let me finish answering the question. You can have your time. It's a proof of concept in the sense that, one, you're showing the visuals, you're showing that you can build an audience, people respond to that audience, and you can generate sales. That's what proof of concept is. Okay, so, as I was saying, Joe McFee, he has a corporation. He's set up so he can have those investment rounds where people can invest in his company, invest in his IP, several of his IPs, and which will put him in a better position. That's why Black Sands, when they went on Shark Tank, they had already did a couple of investment rounds. That's when you start looking at equity and stuff like that. You have to think bigger picture, and a lot of people don't. And it's not their fault. It's just they're learning as they're going. They're building this experience up. And once they get that knowledge, it's up to them what they do with that knowledge. But yeah, anybody that thinks comic books aren't a proof of concept, if you're looking to go bigger and better, you're sadly mistaken. A book is a proof of concept if you're looking at getting that into multimedia, television, cartoons, movies, all of that. You can build a fan base, That way you have that to go to those meetings and be like, look, this is what my comic book did. This is the reaction. This is who I work with. You have to be in that position to create an advantage for yourself with your IP. It's that simple. So yeah, I would sell it in a heartbeat, but I would have to do the hard work first to build that IP up so it have value. If these companies don't see value in it, I don't care how good it is or bad it is, it's not going to go anywhere.
This is true. Mr. Michael, how do you answer the question? Would you sell your IP?
Depends on the IP. Because I'm sitting here listening to everybody talking about an IP, and they're all on one single IP. Why are you just sticking with one IP, man? Why are you just sticking with one IP?
Exactly.
And you can have multiple IPs, and you can have ones that you're more personal with, but have ones that you're willing that you can let go of. So, like I said, there's a couple of IPs that I have that I won't let go of, but I also put in the amount of work for ones that I will let go of too. So. Now, as far as a publisher is concerned, it depends. Again, it definitely depends on what kind of deal you get. What is the publisher bringing to the table? Are they just going to publish the books and I still have to do the marketing? What's the advantage there? Is my question. Because if I still have to do the marketing, well, then I'm just going to go ahead and try to raise the money myself to publish it. But that's where I'm at on that.
All right. Well, for myself, and I know Arthur's. I've heard the advice as well. Don't get married to your property. I am married to my property. That's the problem. For me, it's not a thing. Like I know what Arthur's saying. I get it. But the thing is that I'm creating art. You understand? I am like I don't pull money out of this. Whatever money I get, I put it right back into the project. So I'm creating art. That's how I view it. You understand? Now it's art meets commerce. So yes, I'm trying to make as much money as possible. Now, if I get to complete the project, then I would consider selling it. Yeah. That's when I would consider selling it, once I complete it. So as long as I get to say what I want to say, or even if I could pull a deal, like let's say like Mike Mignola, where Guillermo del Toro gets to do his movie and whatever he does, that's on him. And Mike gets to continue to do whatever he does. If I get a deal like that, hey man, all day, all night, I'd be like, yeah, you're gonna give me X amount of dollars, and you can do your thing, and I'll do my thing. No problem. I wouldn't have any issues with it. It's like what Stan Sakai has with Usagi Yojimbo right now. He has that cartoon on Netflix that looks nothing like the comic book.
Yeah, right.
It's a legacy property.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's fast forwarding, and he's the descendant of Usagi. Many years in the future.
It looks nothing like what I want to see, which is the comic book, translated onto screen. But that was his decision to make, and I'm pretty sure they said they walked over and they handed him a bushel full of money, and he was just like, "Thank you," and in Spanish.
I'm gonna put it to you this way. I think George Lucas had it right the first time around when he did Star Wars, and he invited everybody to come and play in this, to write books and everything, because he still got a percentage of everything that was Star Wars. And then, but he also didn't have to pay creators to write books. He didn't have to pay anybody to do that. They came and they got paid for doing books or whatever the case is, and they got to enjoy it. But they built up his IP after he was pretty much, he could just sit back and collect for a little while before he went on to do what he did. Same thing happens with they call him a hack. Patterson, James Patterson. James Patterson has gotten to the point to where he could just get another writer to come on. He'll write him an outline. They'll write the book, and it will sell just because his name's on it. That's the kind of place I would rather be. Is in that situation with any IP I have, for that matter.
But Larry, you're up.
How
would you do your own question?
Well, part two has already been answered because I've done that. We've done a book-to-book sort of contract with the Antarctic Press. I'll tell you this: I'm not getting rich from that. You know what I mean? I got a royalty check, not a check, but a deposit the other day for Exciting Comics 20, which was 132 Canadian dollars. All right, so. I didn't certainly do it for the payoff because there isn't really much of one. I can make more money selling a couple of comics on eBay than I did through doing that. But the advantage, I guess, is more, there is more eyes on the prize. You literally can go into a comic book shop and pick up my work for $4.99. You don't have to spend $15-$20 on a Kickstarter premium or pay $15 in shipping. Or if you buy another Antarctic Press book, you're going to see my ads in the back of their book, So I did it more for the broad view exposure than I certainly did for the money. As far as selling the IP, I could sell Niobe if someone wanted to dump a crap ton of money on me, because I'll tell you why. I got 100 of these in. No problem. Let's go.
That's what I was going to ask you. It's like, so you have Niobe and it's being published, but if you have a character in that comic book that you can spin off and crowdfund, that'd probably help your crowdfund campaign in the long run, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we can make new characters in Niobe. I'm eventually going to do a team book, which will have Niobe in it. That's why I'm slowly introducing all these new characters to the Niobe universe, if you will. There are other things that we want to do, but, the reason why I don't have several IPs at the moment is simply finances.
Fair enough. All right, so let's get down to Amazonia. Mr. Joe, you're up. Talk to me.
Talk to you. Exactly. We got almost 24 hours left in this campaign here. And just to let you guys know, yes, the proof prints are here. We finally got them in, so we're ready to rock and roll once the funds have been deposited here. We have the standard cover for issue number 7, the Victor Wilkins variant issue, the Steph Wilson one.
Everyone's got to have a Steph Wilson cover, brother.
Exactly.
Right?
And the Daphne Lage version variant. So again, the one biggest thing that I could say is that these two have been really kind of like knocking it out of the park.
Can I tell you why? I mean, I'm not
go ahead, Larry. Tell him.
Well, in Steph Wilson's case, Steph Wilson comes with a huge fan base. Right? Oh, yeah. You bring a name on like Steph Wilson, who he really made his name off of eBay by selling sketches, and then people started to hire him for covers. This man did over 100 covers in 1 year, and I think it might even be more than that. Steph Wilson's a guy that will promote your book, you know what I mean, to a much larger base than you may have yourself. And I've had people come by Niobe because Steph Wilson drew the cover. Hopefully they, in Joe's case, they're going to come over, but Steph drew the cover, and they're going to like what they find inside and come back for more, Yeah,
exactly. Because he doesn't work with just anybody as a whole here. And he actually read the books and he's like, yeah, I want to do it. A lot of people will be like, yeah, I'll do a cover and, take the money and this, that, and the other. But he got invested in it. And lo and behold, every so often I've seen he's actually out there advertising it. Yeah. Same thing with Daphne, Daphne did the exact same thing. So I'm quite happy with the overall results because of the simple fact that we had a lot of firsts in this campaign here. This is the first campaign that I ran where we funded in 56 minutes. First campaign where we pretty much, tripled our goal rather quickly. Still hoping that we get to our $2,000 stretch goal by the end of the campaign by, I believe it's going to be by 9 o'clock. What is it? 9:08 tomorrow evening here. If we get to $2,000, that means our next stretch goal, which is the C2E2 Bombshell Comics exclusive of Amazonia #1, gets everybody gets a copy of that for free, as well as everything else. I mean, we have a lot of different creators involved in from where we have from issue #1. And like I said, I'm so glad that Daphne Lage and Steph Wilson is a part of this campaign as of right now, and that I think they're going to be more part of our future campaigns as well, as far as some of the cover art is concerned here. But the major thing here is that Eliza is still here. She's going to be our flagship title as of right now. And who would have thought that a spin-off character from a series that I have not or have chosen not to publish as of yet would do this well. I mean, we made it to 7 issues, and I got at least for the first story arc, at least 8 more before we finish the first story arc until we really get to the nitty-gritty about who she really is. So I'm happy that we're at the tail end of this, where I could start fulfilling and getting things together. Where we get issue number 7, and in some cases, we got a lot of people who bought the full series in digital. So everybody's going to get caught up real quick, fast, in a hurry on this series and be ready for issue number 8, which is going to be coming very, very shortly. I just have to go ahead and start penciling it as soon as we fulfill.
Nice.
So I mean, 24 more hours. I backed it.
Mhm.
I think it's a great looking book. My Daphne did a cover for this. That's my wife. So yes, go get her cover.
I backed it too, Joe.
Yep. I'm surprised of how many people came out for this one as a whole here. I really am, because like we were talking earlier, Larry, I have to have that angel investor for when I first did it, which was for issue number 6, and there was a lot of things that I messed up with Kickstarter wise. Like, for example, even though I was already 6 issues into Amazonia, I had to think about, well, the Kickstarter audience have no idea about this series.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why don't you start from issue number 1? And in my heart of hearts, it's like, why am I going to go backwards? Why am I going to crowdfund an issue that's already in existence? I need money to produce the next one. So I learned from that mistake. And now, after doing a first anniversary number 1, which was, one of those things, it was like a milestone comic that I wanted to put out and actually re-release the original issue number 1 that was done back in 2008, because we had to put that on ice because Comixology got involved, and Comixology wanted me to redo that issue, so I did. So that made all the original issue number 1s go out of print. So now people can see that if they invest in the 10th anniversary version, unless you was one of the ones that got in on the campaign, got in on this series from the very beginning back in 2008. However, after learning from those mistakes, I know what to do and how to go about it now, and how to really focus in on just not focusing on one issue, but focusing on the whole entire series. It's always better to sell the entire run than one issue.
This is true.
But those are lessons learned that you have to, like you said, you have to get your teeth kicked in first before you learn those lessons as a whole here.
Well, I'll tell you, add-ons are the best thing Kickstarter could have ever done for anyone. It allows people to do just that. You can put out a number 6 and then offer 1 to 5 as an add-on, and allow everyone to catch up, which will bring in extra money. They don't all need their separate campaigns. You're right.
All right, cool. All right. So a few more hours left. Are you doing a closeout show tomorrow, Joe?
Originally I was not, but I have to see if I'm actually available. I might do a closeout show probably about 8 o'clock, but there's not a guarantee on it. So that's the only reason I haven't announced anything as of yet.
Gotcha. All right, Stan.
All right. So we have our pre-launch page up right now. We are releasing on July 1st. We actually put out all 4 issues without Kickstarter. Issue 5, we're kickstarting for 2 reasons. One, we want to obviously give the best product possible, so we have hired artists, and a lot of the way we work on our comic, a lot of the artists that we hired, like one of my co-creators is working off of his phone, so we're hoping that with the money that we can get the proper equipment to obviously move forward. That being said, because we didn't do any Kickstarters 1 through 4, we're actually doing kind of like a physical catch-up. So we're going to be doing digital and physical for issues pretty much 1 through 5. And a lot of the other tiers I'll kind of release as we get a little bit closer to that release date. But we got a lot of cool stuff that we're doing that I don't think people would expect us to do during this Kickstarter. But yeah, we're super excited for July 1st.
Nice. Now Amazon, how did that work out for you?
I mean, it's not my favorite, I'll be honest, just because I get all my books locally printed. So I would get like each issue we put on Amazon, I would get them sent to my address to see how they came out. and I wasn't really impressed with the quality of the book.
Right.
I just I don't know. It's hard because with the whole Comixology and Amazon storefront being combined now, it's hard to kind of navigate finding your comic, especially when you're finding like garden tools and TVs and clothing. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan right now, just because it's a little bit harder to navigate, and I think they made things a little bit more difficult. But I am on a digital platform too, so I've been using that mostly, and I think they're treading on some really exciting stuff from what I've seen.
Are you on just Amazon for digital, or Comixology, whatever it is now, or are you on other digital platforms as well?
So I'm on Amazon. I haven't really re-entered Comixology because, if I'm being honest, that whole interface ever since it got liquidated into Amazon really confuses the hell out of me. And I am on Global Comics right now, which I think is one of the best indie marketplaces. And besides that, yeah, we're just going to physical stores, trying to put our physical issues in actual stores, get them to all the local shops, and try to spread the word.
All right, cool. Now, I know you mentioned it. Are all the physical copies going to be available on the campaign?
Yeah, so we're gonna do digital, and then we're gonna do a physical tier as well. We actually have luckily we have all the books printed right now. So as soon as obviously the campaign ends and it's not as hectic promoting and marketing, we're gonna be sending those books out pretty shortly. We just got to get issue 5 printed, but issues 1 through 4 should be ready to go.
All right, cool, nice. So July 1st.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good. All right, when it's live, we can come back and
absolutely
share up the screen, and we can deal with Mr. Rosario then. Mr. Larry, what do we got here, sir?
I don't have a pre-launch page yet because I haven't submitted it for approval, but this is sort of like the work in progress of my next Kickstarter for Niobe Outbreak. That title image is done by Paul Green and Ula Moss, who are just a fantastic team. They've worked with everyone, Marvel, Zenoscope, Lady Death, you name it, Basically, this is what if an outbreak happened on Niobe's world, and this virus, a play on COVID, affects humans and genomes, basically the superhuman community, differently, and how it puts them at odds. And this comes down to a lot of social commentary on mandates, on vaccines, on masking up, on social distancing, basically the life that we all had to live for the last 2 years, but put into a superhero realm, if you will. So we got, you talk about a variety of covers with gorgeous looking women on it. JD, I think I have a problem. I have not even kidding, I have like 14 covers.
God damn,
that's a lot. I like this one. That's
done by the interior artist. That's Juan Antonio Altaveras, and that's a Iron Maiden homage to Somewhere in Time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he's the guy that actually draws the book. So what you see on the cover is what you get on the inside. You know what I mean?
That's quality stuff right there, man.
Oh, it gets even better as we scroll down. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what I mean. If that's what the interiors look like, well, that's good shit then.
We got Elrado Garcia, who's a Zenoscope interior artist who lent his hand on the cover. He'll be doing stuff with us in the future. If I do a side book, he's probably the guy I'm contacting for the interiors. You know what I mean? We got Justin Hunt, who just did a Dynamite cover here. This is just off the charts. I love the whole outbreak map behind her and the countdown going on, and it's just that's going to look really good at print. You know what I mean? We have Courtney Rose Dameron, colors by Dan Overa. Courtney is one of those people, kind of like a Steph Wilson. She sort of has her own built-in fan base. She'll share and promote your stuff. Just overall cool chick. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sean Fournier. This guy here's done a lot of work for Dynamite Comics, including titles such as Red Sonja and Vampirilla. Wanted to be part of Niobe. We brought him on.
Nice.
Keith Garvey. This is a poster that's on my wall right now. I made this a personal poster. This is the first cover we had done for Outbreak. He's actually working on a cover for Outbreak number 2 right now as we speak. Just gorgeous sort of painted cover. I struggle to find words. There's not much not to like here. It's going to sell books. RB White, who's been with us since 2016. This is probably the sexiest that it gets right here. RB White getting a little naughty, a little saucy. We don't do the nude covers. We only ever done that once, and I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now. I don't mind having them scantily clad and pushing the line, but we will never do nudity again. We done one topless cover, and I was like, nah, that's it. Mark May came about because he wanted to do a cover for free. He's like, I have to do Niobe. Let me do a cover, and I want to do it for free. And I said, sure. He said, the only condition is Sanju has to color it. I said, sure, we'd love to have Sanju color it. So Mark May drew it, and Sanju colored it, and we'll pump it out. You know what I mean? We have Fernando Cordelio. This is the artist for Mary Machine Gun. Atrocity Press was in your chat a little earlier. Yep. Fern wanted to do some work for Niobe. He's done work for Niobe. This is going to be one of the new characters that we've talked about that we're bringing into the Niobe verse. This is Cinder. She's obviously a fire-based character. She's a villain, and she's no puns intended, but she's going to light it up.
Nice.
We have Greg Bo Watson and Gwen making the rounds. Greg Bo Watson was a Zenoscope interior artist back in the day, and then he took a break from comics for a while. Now he's back with a vengeance. You're seeing Greg Bo Watson covers everywhere. So that's cool. We have Chris Williams, who sort of brings this different look to Niobe. This is more of an industrial 2000 AD Judge Dredd sort of Niobe style here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and Dan, colored that, and Dan went a little different style for his colors there, a little darker. Of course, we have the Paul Green Ula Moss. I mean, this is going to be the heavy hitter. This is what's going to probably sell the most. It always does. Whenever we bring these two on, they're always our highest selling cover. I give Paul Green and Ula Moss credit for bringing us to our first 5-figure campaign. You know what I mean? Plain and simple. It was them.
Nice.
And so hopefully, we're going to foil this one. There's going to be a virgin variant. There's going to be a variant with a trade, the trade dress. It's going to be a heavy hitter. And then as we scroll down one more, we have, of course, from Antarctic Press, 35 years in the game, the godfather of American manga, the creator of Ninja High School, Mr. Ben Dunn himself. Right there. And, of course, Niobe's with Antarctic. And then here's just some preview pages. We got a few more that we actually got to add. So we get our first glimpse of Cinder, our new character here that's arriving. She's angry about a lot of stuff. She's causing a protest. They're gonna run rampant in the streets. She believes that much like she's got a Magneto sort of personality, where she believes that genomes are the superior race, and that they are evolution, and that they have been marginalized and mistreated their whole lives and judged, and she's had enough, and so she seeks justice. And then we have some stretch goals. Not all the stretch goals have been listed here. They're actually going to start at 7,000. We're waiting for a couple of chibi cards to be done from our very own Pete Vask and Phil Leon, but the things that have been done are here. So we have a Bun Lung sticker. We have a Sweet Heme art sticker. We have we're going to use the Ben Dunn cover. We're going to make that a bookmark. The whole list is there. We just have to add in the graphics. It's going to be probably our biggest Kickstarter to date. You know what I mean?
I've worked with Bun before. He's a good dude, man.
Man, he's awesome, man, and he really banged this out, and it's adorable, and it's cheeky, and it's cute. It's a nice little stretch goal. We're actually going to put him on a cover on our next book. He's actually going to have his own cover, and then we got add-ons, man. Like add-ons, like I said before, the best thing that happened to Kickstarter. People that missed out on Niobe Birthright or Niobe Origins, or they wanted a certain variant cover and they couldn't get it before. Well, now they have a chance to sort of come back and pick up what they missed out on. You know what I mean? So we got CB Zane, Luigi Terrell, RB White, Courtney Rose Darman there. We got Chris Enon, who's doing a lot of stuff for Image Comics right now. We got Matt Weldon, of course. He's from Antarctic Press Punchline fame and a variety of others. You know, we got, you know, the Juan Antonio triple pack. You know, we got the RB White combo pack. So if you want all of RB White's covers he's done for us recently, you guys can get that stuff. You know, we got all sorts of stuff. As you can see, it's all good. Courtney Rose, dual pack. These are just add-ons that we give you a slight discount on. Oh, this is cool. The Morgan Bailey cosplay set. So Morgan said, I want to cosplay Niobe. And I said, great, we want you to cosplay Niobe. So we did 10 photos. They're going to be available as a set. And one of these photos will be chosen to be our first ever sort of cosplay cover for Niobe. So, and then the rest of it is just shipping and our creative team and, you know, that sort of stuff. And I'm still working on this Kickstarter. I'm still building it, you know. But we make sure that everyone knows how we ship. We make sure everyone knows that we expect the surveys to be filled out. We let everyone know that's Gemini's. And we show these pictures here just to show that, hey, you know, we deliver. People are happy with what we deliver. Things come in good condition. Things come on time. You're not waiting 2 years for late looks. You know what I mean? It's all good. All right. And so that's going to be launched probably within 2 weeks. Nice. I just have to, like, you know, fine tune it, put a few more graphics up in there, and then submit it for approval. And depending on how fast Kickstarter approves it, will depend on, you know, when we actually give out a launch date.
Cool. Looks awesome. It's like, it looks awesome as usual.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well, I mean, a lot of money got dumped into this one. You know, we did a trade paperback to raise extra money to put into this book. And I'll be fulfilling that trade paperback next week. The books are supposed to arrive Tuesday or Wednesday.
Hold on, let me pull up.
So we hope the investment that we did pays off, and I think it will.
Gotcha.
I hope it does too, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be awesome. I'm being selfish here. This is my title, Tall Tales, being run by Daphne. We're the
very nice 64. She just launched earlier this week, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, you know, we got 1 or 2 fans. We're very grateful for them. You know, but yeah, no, it's cool. You know, it's just launching out. Like I said, it's the trade paperback. Let me pull this up. I keep trying to remove myself. This right here, so the trade paperback. It's 120 pages. Like I said, this is volume 4. We have all 4 volumes available. This is the equivalent of 20 issues of comics.
Nice.
550 pages. So, you know.
Nice.
A lot of work there. So, you know,
it's a lot of hard work that went into that.
Yep. If you like fantasy, action, adventure, Dungeons and Dragons, that sort of thing, you know, it's something you might want to check out. So, all right. So enough of that. There we go.
Characters with personalities, tell the difference who they are. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I'll tell you something. I saw a photo of you in a warehouse recently. I can't wait to get those books, bro.
Actually, that'll ship out this week. Yours.
Beautiful.
That's shipping out.
Like, I will definitely unbox that live for you guys, show them all off. You know what I mean? 9 books for $25. You can't go wrong.
Thank you. I threw in something a little special for you in there.
Oh, I appreciate that.
But I threw in a lot of stuff for the fans. Especially, I threw in like a lot of extra stuff. Like I put in cards, all stickers, all kinds of stuff. You know me. I like to pad out those boxes with all those extras for everybody.
It's called sweetening the deal.
I'm glad you were able to take such a big negative and turn it into something, you know, positive. You know.
Yeah.
That was a crap deal to begin with, and you know, I know financially probably no one ever really recovered from that, but you know, at least you know, stuff is getting out to people, and you know, you just carry on from there, you know.
Oh yeah, listen, I got to hang out with Randy Zimmerman for about 3 days, 4 days. I was at his place. We had a great time, man. We had a great time. You know, I mean, we went out to some to the Detroit Institute of Art Museum.
Oh yeah, you showed us some pictures of that.
Yeah, beautiful museum. If you ever get a chance to go out there, wonderful. Had a lot of great food. You know, that was the best thing. Randy knows a lot of great places to eat, so we ate and we ate well.
So was the chicken? Did the chicken live up to the hype, or?
It did. It did. It really did. It was actually very good. Yeah, yeah. He took us there. He took us to an Italian joint. I mean, that was pretty awesome too. We should have had Jay with us. He would have, you know, maybe I could have served him some pizza.
Could have found a deep dish place somewhere.
All right. You know what? I got one last question, and then we'll wrap this sucker up. This is one that I stole from Mr. Belfield, Arthur, right? So here's the question: are we as a community creating new content, or are we just recycling what already exists? Right. So basically, that's the question. You know, are we creating new stuff, or are we just recycling old content? You know, because you know, we've seen it through Marvel, we've seen it through DC. A lot of these guys sometimes, you know, they just recycle their ideas. Joe, you're up, brother.
Oh, he's
so controversial.
Yeah, he always wants to start with me because he's like he feels that he's something controversial. I see it as 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
There's creators out there that's actually doing something unique as a whole, and then there's others that's putting their spin on like their favorite character and trying to establish a new mythos based upon that. And I've always said it's like one of the messed up things about indie comics is that indie comics is always money, and people don't understand what I mean by money is that we have good ideas based upon stuff that has already been done or tried to take a different spin on something that we like, as opposed to always being original. And the hard thing about it is that how can you always be original? You always want to draw for something in some form, some fashion, whether it be, you know, inspiration based upon another person's story or based upon, you know, something that you saw on television and whatnot. So it's going to be 50-50 when it comes to that. It's like 50% of the time it's going to be something that's unique, you know, unique and creative, and other times it's just going to be like an offshoot of what something has already been done that you think may be cool to do.
Joe, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
He was done answering your question. He was waiting for you to respond.
Yeah, I was like, am I freaking out?
Sam, you're bugging. You're bugging me.
Sam, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I would kind of go with what Joe was saying. I think I had a conversation with someone who's not in the comic book industry, but it was like kind of a really insightful conversation. I don't know many things. I'm sure there are the rare examples of anything that has to do with a story. I'm sure the inspiration came from somewhere, from something they've seen, whether it be in any genre or any movie or any book. So I think there are a lot of creators out there from what I've seen that are doing real stuff that no one's ever done. And then there's obviously people who have kind of rehashing and throwing a new spin on something they've seen before. I know it's kind of like the same answer, but it's this fine line, I think, of everyone's trying to reinvent themselves and everyone's trying to do something different. And it's very, very difficult because you'll try to think you're doing something different, and then you'll see a random bug. You'll be like, "What the crap? They stole my idea!" And it's like, no, they just did it. You know, they did it before you, or they had the idea before you. You know, so it is that hard, a very tough thing to do, I think, in the industry.
Gotcha. All right, Larry, what do you think?
Well, look, I think original ideas still exist. I think they're fewer and far in between than they used to be. When you look at something like Star Wars 1979, even Star Wars was influenced by old westerns and Flash Gordon. So I think everything has influence. Like Niobe, my own book is greatly influenced by the X-Men. I think that's easy to see. It's greatly influenced by Gem and the Holograms, where she's a pop star that wears face paint. It's greatly influenced by anime, where you see the long pigtails. Like I can almost look at anyone's property and sort of decipher maybe where some of those influences are coming from, right? But that's not a bad thing, you know. I think there's always going to be different twists on different stories, and you know, maybe sometimes these stories have been told before, but they're fables, and fables are always evolving and they're always changing.
All right, cool. Arthur, it's your question, man. Answer it. What are you cooking, by the way?
I'm making spaghetti.
All right, save enough for everybody, bro. But you know, what do you got as far as an answer? Or your thoughts, I should say.
My thoughts are pretty simple. Yes, we're all going to be inspired by some things, but it's a huge difference between being inspired by a myth and legend. Like, how many stories have been written off the Bible or, you know, the Quran and so forth, or different European legends? The American audience are just now getting familiar with a lot of different African folklore and myths and legends and stuff like that. So that's always going to be there. The problem is, if you only read, I say, superhero comics, you're easily going to end up ripping off, and this happens on a subconscious level. I don't think people intentionally, you know, set out to do it, but you're easily going to end up copying the superhero comics that you read. Just for the simple fact that's your biggest influence in your life right there. That's your go-to. And I'm one of those people, it's like Larry said, you know, it's like his comic, you know, it's influenced by a lot of different things. He pulled this from this from that from there. That's cool. That's great. He created a recipe that works for him. And that's amazing thing. You know, I look at JD's comic. There's nothing out there like it. It stands out. Hell, Joe has a damn 6 foot. Wait, what is she, like 10-foot woman running around?
Taller than that, yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing else like that out there. That stands out just visually. It stands out. You know, so it's like I look at comics like that and I'm like, what was the influence here? Even though it's like, oh, here's the story beat from this. Here's the story beat from this. You know, Journey to the West. That's been Dragon Ball Z and all these other properties have borrowed from that freaking legend. But it's just how you depict those legends. But when you look at, oh, this person has their version of Batman. This person has their version of Superman. And they don't even attempt to be creative or make them a little different. That's where you run into the problems. Like, if you really want to write Batman, just go write fucking Batman.
Or the Shadow.
Yeah, or the Shadow.
It'd be easier to probably get a job on the Shadow.
Yeah, probably. Is the Shadow public domain yet, or is it
I think within the next 5 years, I think it'll go public. Because I was just talking to somebody about that. He says there are a bunch of those that are about to come up.
Yeah.
Public
Is
domain.
Winnie the Pooh really public domain now?
Yes, but without the red shirt.
Right.
No,
You can't do the Disney version. You could do the original A.A. Mills version, but you cannot do Disney.
Right. So
That
you
is
know,
crazy.
yeah, somebody's doing a horror film with Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think Tigger comes up in a couple of years. I think he's still not
That-
What about Scooby Doo? I saw
No.
somebody made
it's gonna be a while.
No.
they made a pilot episode for a fan.
Yeah, it's a fan made,
Yeah,
kind of like a Riverdale thing. I don't know.
yeah, but that's gonna be a long, because that's from the '60s, so that's gonna be around for a minute. Yeah. So, Mr. Michael, what do you feel? Well, how do you feel?
There's a lot of comics that are like each other out there. I mean, we're dealing with comics, and a majority that take up comics are superhero comics, but everybody has a different voice when they do something. So they're not necessarily the same thing as if they fall in the same genre. It depends. Like Arthur said, you don't want to make a Superman comic book or a Batman comic book, you know, verbatim or whatever the case is. But there's differences. Now, personally, I would say this much. If you want to make a splash and you want to expand beyond that circle, you need to try to take something and make it a different spin on it. It can still have some beats and everything, but you would really you really want to come out the box on it, as to say, because that's what appeals to me is just things that I don't normally see. I'm not that much into superhero comics, right? But that's me. There's a huge market for it too. But the question is, do you want to just stay in that market, or do you want to expand? Because I know people who are in superhero books also like other kind of books. So,
Yep.
True. Michael, just hold
Power's
on.
about to die. I want
Yeah.
to say, Jay is one of the few people that have reached a milestone where his universe is this big, where he could have a freaking guidebook to his characters. I think that's freaking awesome.
yeah, right. Yep.
Thank you.
All right. So his power, Arthur's power is running out. So Arthur, just let everybody know where they can find you at your work, so you can step out. Oh, I think. Oh, there it is. He left.
Boom.
He told me he only had 1% left. So he was just like, look, at least he got to plug Jay's book. So Michael, I'm sorry. Did you have anything left to say?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, for me, as far as comics are concerned, I'd like to try to expand the borders of what's normal, or what's average, whatever the case is. But because a lot of times that's going to be your staying power, and even if it's superhero, take a different angle from it. I don't think it has to be, it has to be, far out. But
Right.
True, maybe if you're going to do Cthulhu books, please try to find another spin on that. That's all I'm going to say about that.
A lot of those out there, ain't there?
Oh,
There's a lot.
Yeah, that's why I keep saying that the indie side is very muddy.
Yeah.
You see so much of the exact same thing that you don't know where one book ends and another one begins, and vice versa.
Yeah, I think it starts at the top with a Good Girl or Bad Girl comics, and then it's Cthulhu.
Well, if you're talking Kickstarter, I think you're absolutely right. You go over to the Indiegogo side, it's a little different,
Oh yeah, definitely.
We've tried to run on Indiegogo, Bad Girl Comics. I failed there. Max DeVille failed there. Corey Hardiman with Sister Mercy failed there. Bad Girl Comics aren't exactly a big hit over on Indiegogo. Just for people to know. I mean, Indiegogo has a niche of a niche of a niche. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where a certain group basically goes there and backs comics, and that's it. Just to be fair about it,
Yeah. They like their 90s, X-Men type style comics. That's their thing. Which is, if that's what you enjoy, that's what you enjoy. Good luck.
Yeah.
Mr. Rosario, what do you think, sir?
I'm sorry, I had stepped away. What was the question?
Why? Why did you step away, sir? I would need a full.
You want to know? You want to know? Dude, listen, I'm going to say this. I took a flight earlier today, and everybody knows that, excuse me, I have a problem that the air pressure on the flight messes with my bowels. So
traveler's diarrhea.
Yes. So, I've been home for hours, yet it's only now starting to, open up the airways, shall we say.
Nice. So you're just a shitty individual. Is what you're
Oh,
telling me.
man, I'm all fucked up. I'm all fucked up.
All right. The basic question is we as a community, right?
Yeah.
Are we creating new content, or are we just recycling existing content?
All right. So let's go. Let me break this down to the beginning of all of this, right? There's only 36 dramatic narratives out there. That's it. It goes beyond, man versus man, man versus nature. There's 36 dramatic narratives. All right. Fast forward a little bit.
I'm telling you, there's 37.
37, 36, 37. Okay. I could
I'm
be
just
wrong.
saying.
I know there's not 40.
Might be
all right.
38.
You can look this up. There's but 36, 37, 38, whatever. Dramatic narratives. All right. So now, what you add to it, whether it's superheroes, whether it's zombies, whether it's fairies, whether it's furries, whatever, that's all window dressing, and that's coming from your perspective. What you do from your perspective is what makes it different. Let me just bring up one of my books for a second, right? Shield of the Interceptor. I make no bones about it. This was a Captain America book, right? But how do I take what I loved growing up and put my own spin on it? So instead of being from the States, he's from the UK. Instead of being a white guy, he's a man of color. Instead of his shield being made of science, it's born of magic. And through magic, it allows me to enter the world Arthurian legend, and Excalibur. So it's pretty much Captain America with the shield that was supposed to go with Excalibur, right? Yeah.
Oh, cool.
When you strip it all away, that's what it is. That's what it is. But now, how do I add to it? How do I dress it up? How do I season it? How do I put my own tastes, perspectives of it? Yes, is it superhero stuff? Of course. Is that the only thing I can write? No. Is that what I want to write? Yes. Is that making me dough? No. It's not. But I started with this, and I had to finish the tale. So you know what? We put that miniseries to bed, and we can explore other options. Do I have other stories that are in that world? Yes. Are there other things that I want to explore? Yeah. So I'm going to explore that because I'm indie. I don't got a lot of dough to explore everything at the same time. So I have to wait. I have to pick and choose. I have to do little by little. But at least I can say that all of my stories, all of my miniseries, they're closed, right? There's a beginning, middle, and end. It's 3-act structure, right? So most of them are 4-issue minis. The Storm Chasers that I just ended, which was a superhero team book, that's an 8-issue mini, right? An 8-issue maxi. But now that I've put that to bed, I can explore other concepts.
Nice. Well, for myself, I know for the Oswald Chronicles and Tall Tales is like, it's Dungeons and Dragons, man. Just, with
that's it.
My inspiration for that was Disney's Robin Hood. I was 18 years old, 17 years old, or whatever it was when I came up with it. And it's just what I enjoyed. So that's what I did. The Oswald Chronicles is a little different. That's more like, I don't know, just me losing my mind on paper. But it's what I'm into, is what I'm doing, and it's I enjoy it thoroughly, and I just like to share that with everybody. So, all right.
I just wanted to add too, just because I live by this quote, it's not about inventing the wheel; it's just about modifying it. If you modify it, it's a good rule to stay by.
That's it. Nice. All right. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. We made it to the top of the hour. Second hour, I should say. Mr. Joe, please let everybody know where they can find you and your work, sir.
You can find me right there at that link here, that link tree right there, the linktr.ee/Silvo. That'll get you to everywhere I'm at, social media wise, whether it be Facebook, Twitch, Tumblr, Reddit, DeviantArt, you name it. It is what it is here. You could also reach me Saturdays on my show from the Desk of a Small Press Publisher, 9:00 Central Standard Time, 9:00 p.m. that is Central Standard Time, and I do comic book reviews with Comic Book Spectrum on the Rising Tide Network on Thursdays at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time.
All right, let me throw this up there. This is from Phil. He says, "Hell, there are really only 7 basic narrative plots in all of storytelling. So basically, everything is going to recycle in some way. There's no way around it." All right, Phil. I don't mean to be a contrarian. I don't mean to be a contrarian, but I know they just got to be an 8th one. I'm just saying. Anyway, Sam.
You can. So you can find us. You can find our comic on Amazon, Global Comics. We got our pre-launch page that is our Kickstarter that's going live on July 1st. You can mostly find me on Twitter. Just type in @comics_raise. You're going to look for the header that says 2% milk. That would be me, the only guy that has that header. And you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Just search Raise Comics. We're not that popular yet, so we don't have any fake accounts yet, but we're working towards that.
Nice. Larry, where can they find you and your work, sir?
Well, you can find the work right now in comic shops. Exciting Comics 17 to 20 if you want some Niobe in your life, but of course, buy more than that. Niobe Origins comes out on shelves in July as a one-shot through Antarctic Press. But social media-wise, if you just type in Niobe comic into YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, that sort of stuff, you will find me.
And don't forget about your show. You still have a show, right?
Oh yeah, Monday nights, man. Nice. I mean, I'll probably be live later tonight, just doing some gaming. But Monday night is our hardcore. We talk comics, and you guys, of course, are always invited. To come on, any one of you guys. I mean, you're just like, hey, shoot me a link. We love bringing on people. We love talking shop and talking comics. We're a late night show, so we kind of goof off a bit, but it's all been good fun.
Cool. Mr. Lanning.
Yeah, of course, you can always find me. I also have a link tree or linktr.ee / Michael Lanning has all my social media links and my portfolio. You can check that out. And of course, on the Raging 2 Broadcasting Network on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about all sorts of things geeky that made you, not just movies, TVs, or any other type of thing, but all sorts of things. Again, 9 p.m. Eastern Tuesday nights. And this week we're doing space opera. So
nice. Cool. All right, Babylon 5. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, it's going to be discussed. I got a Babylon 5 nut on my panel, so yeah, he's definitely going to bring that up.
Oh wow! I think I know who you're talking about.
Nice. And don't forget Farscape. All right.
I'm a Farscape nut. I love Farscape, man.
Yeah, they had some hot women on that show.
Yes,
they did.
They did. Mr. Rosario, where can they find you and your work?
Unstoppable Comics. Unstoppable Comics. Unstoppable Comics. UnstoppableComics.com. You can find all our social media links at the website. And right now, you go there, free shipping on all graphic novels. You can get our downloads on UnstoppableComics.com. And in a few weeks, we're going to be putting all the shirts that were picked up on the Kickstarter are going to be there for sale, and a few other things as well.
All right, cool. Well, for myself, you can find me here just almost every Sunday. And you can find me on Facebook or the OswaldChronicles.com, Twitter, DeviantArt, all of the JD Calderon, and that's pretty much it for me. But also, like I said, Tall Tales Online and the Oswald Chronicles. That's where you can really find me. All right. So, all right, hold on. Here's one more from Phil, and I'm just going to put it up because it is Farscape Rocks.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for being awesome. Larry, Sam, Joe, C, Jay, thank you.
Thanks for having me on, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, bro.
Anytime, you know that.